Straight dick. What do you
Straight
mean?
dicks.
Dicks Anonymous.
They're better than wait, I mean what?
People are probably tired of hearing these pre-rolls here where we start off.
I like them, not the dicks, the pre-rolls.
I'm glad you made that distinction. Wait, what's wrong with
what's wrong with the pre-roll?
What's wrong with the penis?
Whoop, nothing's wrong with the penis. We got a new table here, folks. I'm
getting used to it.
Getting used to it. Feels.
Oh, tables. Is that what you call it these days?
Yeah. Wait, can you replace dicks? Can't replace dicks.
If we started off strong and your windows are down and you're getting embarrassed in traffic, this is the time to roll the windows up.
That's a good intro.
Yep.
Do that from now on. Do that, and then Joe does his welcome and welcome all.
And you know what? Big shout out to the homie Lizzo. She said that she actually rolled her windows up because of the way we started that one episode, and we started off pretty strong with the language.
Yes. And the great thing about this is I know who Lizzo is.
Hey, Keenan finally remembers. Keenan always forgets.
So
Keenan now remembers.
Lizzo, I do a salute to you. Thanks for rolling your window up.
And with that, if you have your windows up, system up, and you're ready to roll, then we're gonna do it in the name of Noob. One of our hosts was his name, Joe, right? That's his name. He's not here right now.
I don't remember Joe being a part of Noob at all.
Does this intro ring a bell?
I think
welcome one, welcome all.
That sounds familiar.
To the None of Our Business podcast.
Yep.
We are your hosts.
Oh,
wait, yeah, that's right. It's hard for me to.
Because if you're Joe,
right,
but it's gonna sound shit.
To the None of Our Business podcast. We are C Money, Keenan Duncan, C section. See your way out. Keenan's been practicing on that. Actually, it's better. It's better. Okay. And
I was feeling it.
And now I'm Phil.
Just Phil.
Filthy animal.
Wait, Joe has a bunch of names.
But
so since he's not here, we can get away with calling him all the names he doesn't call himself on the show.
Joe Mama.
Okay. J to the Izzo.
J2DX.
J2DX.
J-So.
Fuck? That's some weird shit.
Yeah, what else did Joe used to have as a nickname?
I have his solo rhythm album where it says 4 Shades.
We better not talk about that while Joe's not here. Only because it's embarrassing.
Oh, really?
No, it's not. It's actually low key cool.
Oh, okay. Because I'll say some shit that'll get me in trouble.
What? He's
Joe's not
I'm
here.
used to that. He said, matter of fact, you better stop me while I'm still going.
Exactly. Speaking of which, someone wanted to send me a dick pic.
No,
but did not. They said I'll send you this. So my buddy Andrew, surprise Philly. So Philly's finding this out for the first time, and so is the audience when they listen to this. I'm taking a trip up to San Francisco to go see him. He used to be my roommate in college.
This is the story where they saw your butt crack as you got drunk and
yes, he was the one. Yeah. Did I tell that full story on the podcast?
I don't know if you told the full story on the podcast, but you told me.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll tell it either later in this one or some other episode. It doesn't have to be now, but basically my roommate Andrew saved me when I was pretty much giving myself alcohol poisoning one night. And
he's in the tank.
He's the only one that's seen me butt ass naked walking in the streets with a bed sheet around my neck like a cape, like Superman.
Super Duncan.
It was Super D. It was.
Hey, but it was Super D. Huh?
It was not out and it was not swinging.
It was cold. Huh? It was cold and shriveled.
Exactly.
Short shriveled and to the left.
You couldn't even see it. It was bad.
It was like a belly button. Ladies, it happens to the best of us.
Like a doorstop. You just flick it.
It does that sound. It's like,
oh shit. Talk about starting off strong.
Oh man. I'm not sure why that was so fun for boys growing up.
It's hilarious. Dicks are funny. Even though we use them all the time. But Andrew, I'm gonna go see him.
You're going to go see him tonight?
I'm actually leaving after the show.
To San Francisco?
I'm getting on a bus. This is super spontaneous. This is the real me, spontaneous shit. And I'm getting on a Megabus. Shout out. Shit. I know Megabus is not a sponsor, but I'm taking Megabus. That's how I'm getting there. I'm not flying. So if airliners want to sponsor us, then I'll shout you out.
Sure.
But for now, Megabus. There's only $20 to go to San Francisco. $20.
Really?
And it takes the same amount of time, maybe like a 30-minute longer than just driving.
Really?
So
Was
I
it
get
like 7 hours?
yeah.
Okay.
So I could, and if you're driving, depending on how fast you are, you can get there in 6.
Sure.
Some people say they get there in 5 or 4, but you gotta be fucking.
Let's be safe.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be taking a bus tonight, 12 midnight.
Even an hour-long flight was too much for me. I was like,
Oh, it was?
Man, yeah.
You didn't sleep? You don't sleep
No,
on
I
planes?
didn't sleep, but it's mostly because I always run into somebody that wants to talk to me on the plane.
Is it nerve-wracking for you flying? Like
No.
getting
Do you
lifted
get
up?
nervous?
I do. Now, it's a little bit because I like.
Did you have a bad experience?
No, I just like mechanic. Well, okay, I'm very paranoid. So if I watch movies like Flight and see a plane go upside down, I start tripping balls.
For the same reasons you think
when
about
there's
roller
turbulence.
coasters. It's
Exactly.
Like, you know they're safe. They're designed safer,
Exactly.
but it's a thing that you have no control over.
Yes. And I know the same thing for planes. I like planes. I tried to join the military to design planes and stuff like that. I know 747s and 7 something else. There's different types.
Quit throwing up gang signs, Kenan.
and
representing your gangs. Yeah. 747.
Any
Boeing.
gang related 747, do not come after me.
Boeing 747.
We
homie.
are a friend of the 747 gang community. Wait, no, we're not a friend of this gang community.
Wait. You got to beat somebody else then. I wear all the colors and all the flags.
It was knowing how the airplane works and seeing the mechanics. I like sitting next to the wing and just seeing the flaps open up and all the wingspan.
I like seeing the flaps open
You like
up
seeing
too.
the flaps on
Watching
a plane?
the flaps open up is my jam, bro.
When they open up themselves or when you do it?
Both.
Obviously, Philly's taking it somewhere. I was not. I was still in the science community.
I always take it somewhere. I take it all the way.
You take it to the flaps.
That's right.
Ooh, new song. Take it to the flaps.
Take it to the flaps. Take it to the flaps.
Take it.
Take it to the flaps. Take it to the flaps.
Take it.
Roll your windows
Take
up.
it.
Let me
Take
spit it out.
Take it.
Let me tell you what
Take
it's
it.
gonna go. All about. I don't know what I'm saying. Take it to the flaps. Take it to the flaps.
Take it. This
Hello,
is silly.
ladies.
See what happens when Joe's not here? God damn it, Joe. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe is not in the building.
It's
He's
none
not
of
even
our
in the
business,
city.
but he has some business to
He
attend
does.
to.
He does. So, and it's away. So he's not in the town.
In fact, I know so little about it that I don't even care to talk about it because Joe's
No.
not here.
No, I'll just finish up my plane stories.
In fact, Joe, when you listen to this, fuck you. Anyways,
Yes, in the balls.
wait, what?
which is
How
hard.
do you?
I know,
fuck
right?
Someone in the balls.
Use your imagination.
Kenan, were you born with anything different?
No. Dude, that would be weird. Okay, I'm taking this so
Don't-
far.
don't
Can
do
I take
it.
it one extra
Oh,
level? Just one
God.
extra level. So
please advise if your windows are down.
roll these up all the way up. So you know the loop rings that all these hipsters do for their ears, right?
The plugs, yeah,
Is that what it is? The plug?
yeah.
It opens it up
The
and makes
hole.
it. So
What if you had a
that
hole
on
like
your
that on your ball sack?
Then you can do it, right?
A hole the size of a testicle in between both testicles. Somehow I don't see that going well.
I don't know. But I bet you there's some weird freak out there who's going to do it or who has done it. I don't know. But anyway, back to the plane thing. I do get freaked out when I flew to Vegas recently and there was very little turbulence going there, but coming back, there was a little bit more. And I, clenched the hand rest and all that stuff. And I freaked out a little bit knowing full well nothing really was going to happen. But again, you never know. I mean, most of the stuff of the dangerous things that happens on vessels,
Yeah.
you don't know about it till pretty much to the end. The pilot's not going to say, "Hey, everybody, we noticed that
Yeah.
our engine's out, so we're going to
Yeah.
crash." Like,
So like but aren't the chances of dying far? Sorry if you're driving right now. I don't mean to do this.
Oh,
to
in
you,
the car?
but yeah, there are higher rates of mortalities
Mhm.
in cars than there are in planes
And that's
and
the-
roller coasters.
and mathematics plays a role in that, basically probability. So because there's a bajillion cars on the
the
road,
probability is higher.
higher, and there's not trained people behind those wheels,
Right,
as we all know.
Right. Although some of them really would like to believe they could be in the NASCAR Indy 500.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
But it's like, no,
yeah.
Susan,
Yeah.
you're not that good of a driver.
Just
And
because
no,
you have the gloves.
Yeah. And no to you too, Bob. You're not that great of a driver.
hmm And so that's why those pilots go through the rigorous training. They're most of them kind of come from the military and all that stuff.
Right.
So Your last favorite. Then the same thing for roller coasters.
And that's the name of this episode, though, right? Remember your
Remember
training.
your
so
training.
if you don't have any,
Yeah.
get some.
Yes. And that includes sex.
Or act right. Wait, what? Training and sex? It's
Yeah,
called
can
high school,
you?
bro.
Oh, really?
From middle school.
I did not go to high school.
If high school is about sex, I didn't go to high school.
I was a dropout.
Funny enough, I graduated, but I don't remember going.
But yeah, aside from that sad story of Keenan's history of high school, yeah, I'm heading to San Francisco. It's gonna be fun. Andrew has now become an avid listener. Kind of skeptical in the beginning, but I forgot what it was, but he decided to listen to one episode. Loved my mom. I think it was my mom episode. He loved it because he knows my mom really well. And then went to I know, Joe, you have competition. No, you don't. No. He backtracked on the episode. So he watched listen to the recent one, then he goes backwards. So yeah, shout out to not just him, but
to all our haters.
All our haters. I love that. You're now officially our haters. You're not your listeners.
You know, it's all good. One day you'll look back on this and realize the greatness that was.
Exactly. And I want to ask you, I have several questions for you, but the first one is, we didn't talk too much about your trip to San Francisco. So what was that like leaving Los Angeles? Right. And I'll explain why after you answer your question, but what was it like leaving Los Angeles, the feeling of being there and doing what you did and then come back?
Okay. And I just want to add too, it's like, you know, we're not doing this for the attention. We're doing this to entertain you.
Yeah.
To give you something to listen to while you're avoiding people who almost hit you, people who don't put on their turning signals.
We just talked about dicks and putting a ring in your ball sack. So,
you know,
but now we're getting serious.
Yeah.
Sort of.
So, well, do we ever?
I don't know, but people may have the same feeling as you. They might be curious about what.
Somebody just wanted to curse the shit out of their boss before they started listening to us and then decided to get into the car. So you know what? While you're listening to this,
they're going to get a gym today.
We'll say it. Fuck your boss.
Fuck your coworkers.
He or she is an asshole.
They're all assholes. I've worked in that industry.
You're a genius.
We love you. You are the greatest
Here
person
at
alive.
None of Our Business podcast,
there is nothing wrong with you.
We kiss your ass.
We love your boss. We will fuck that hole in your ball sack.
Turn it up.
Okay, anyway.
Right. So
yeah.
My trip to San Francisco.
Yes, you went to San Francisco.
Yes, but it was like as if I wasn't even there to begin with, because early in the morning caught a pretty early flight. It wasn't a red eye or anything. It wasn't overnight. It was just early as fuck, like
6 a.m.
6 a.m. type shit. And as soon as I landed, I was supposed to have time to like experience it before I go, right? But as soon as I landed, they're like, quick change of plans. Your client wants you to meet them at Google. And I was like, all right, cool. I guess. And they're like, and you have a camera, by the way, right? Just by chance, but I'm only supposed to be there to just record audio.
This is like day of, they're calling you?
Like as soon as I land, I already knew there was going to be one appointment at 2 p.m. and then I'd be going back by 7 p.m.
That was scheduled weeks in advance.
No, days in advance.
So
they told me very short notice. And then when I arrived, they even more of a short notice asked me to get more involved, which is fine. You know,
well, people want notification. A lot of people want, hey, notify me.
I'm always happy as a freelancer to provide extra value where it makes sense. And sometimes it's worth it, you know, for the experience. It's the style, how they ask you.
Okay.
That is a very important thing for me, you know? You can almost ask me to do something in almost any number of ways and I'd be happy to do it. It's when you like, anyway, tell me to do something that or start being demanding in a certain way where you're not considering my own autonomy, that things become a problem. So when I landed, they're like, hey, actually, we want you to meet somewhere over here in Sunny Valley, Sunvale. What is it? Sunnydale.
Sunnyvale. Yeah.
Sunnydale.
Yeah. This is over in the Palo Alto, Silicon Valley area.
Right. So I was like, oh, okay. So I took an Uber out that way, right? It's on their dime. Well, they reimbursed me eventually.
Which is good because there is a BART system, train system.
It's fucking expensive though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that Uber was like from the airport all the way out to Sunnydale.
Yeah, that was. I don't think that's the last stop.
That was like $60 or plus.
And if you took the BART train, like New York, it would be like $6 or maybe $8 to get from where you were going. Yeah.
Which would have been cool because I would have actually been in the city. But I basically spent my whole San Francisco trip in Ubers. And then when I wasn't in an Uber, I was rushing to the door where I was supposed to be, pulling out a camera, which I wasn't supposed to be using to begin with.
It was just audio recording.
Because it was just audio. So I wasn't, and then recording this thing, following here. And And then from there, they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to make one other stop. And
Mhm.
so then we went to another company and
course.
made another stop. And then we did the interview. No, actually, from Google, we went to the interview. And then after the interview, they're like, we want to make one more stop.
Gotcha.
And then we're at that last stop. And they're like, by the way, can you quickly give me a snippet of what we just filmed so I can post it now?
So they want you to edit it right then and there.
And I was like, but I'm going to be late for my flight. They're like, no, you'll be fine. So then I made the edit, and then
how old were
the
these
whole
people?
time they're like a year older than me.
Okay.
But then like the whole time I didn't eat anything. Now there were people who offered like, hey, if you want a drink, you can grab it there. Right. But I wasn't. It was like I was being hosted as far as I felt by my client. Right. So I was kind of shocked when they said, hey, if you guys want something, there's a drink there.
Right.
Me, if I was the one who brought someone on, the first thing I would do is be like, since I'm close to the fridge, yo, you want anything? Right. Pretty standard, right? Yo, you want something? Right. Never got that. So they kind of just went to grab their own thing and walked off. And then I was like, should I walk over and grab something too? Like, that's a weird feeling to have, right?
Because you're dealing with, these are wealthy people. We're talking Silicon Valley billionaires.
Yeah. So the companies were nice.
Okay.
It's my own client who was hosting me as far as I was concerned.
Oh, okay.
Like if I go to your house and you're by the fridge, chances are you're like, oh, you want something? Right.
Yeah.
Even if they were like, hey, you guys are both welcome to, if you're already by the fridge.
Okay.
A very standard thing to do is, hey, do you want something from here?
Right. Exactly.
But when that wasn't what happened to me, I was like, I started looking at this is how I choose clients to continue to work with clients. I started looking at the human element of things.
Well, how they treat, it's just like any other
how they treat
connection.
So I'm happy to do extra work that wasn't a part of the invoice. I'm happy. But when you don't even do the small things like that, it really blows my mind. I don't take it personal, but I take it into consideration.
You might not be the only one. Like our listeners, as might be going through some of the similar things you were going through, just at their own job,
right?
Or maybe even within their own family. This could be the same thing of a married couple. Hey, honey, do this. Hey, honey, do that.
Right.
You know, just the little things.
It's the little things, and then the lack of consideration,
right? Or the appreciation of the thank yous.
It literally takes 2 seconds to be like, you want something? I could have even just been like, no, I'm good. Right. As
someone who is hosting, I would think they would provide all the meals because they're asking you to come to the Bay Area in a day or two, right? 48 hours,
literally less than
last minute,
hours,
and then ask you a whole bunch of other stuff to do while you're there.
Yeah.
With the hidden agenda.
That's just at the end of the day, I told them I turned in the work, try to talk to them about maybe, getting compensated for it. And they gave me the runaround, and it just taught me one thing.
Okay.
It makes me appreciate the people who are the good type of client. I'm not saying that they're the bad type of client, but they're a type of person who probably, if they can get away with something, they probably will, even if they don't do it intentionally.
Okay.
Let's say that they were completely unaware of that's how they were behaving. Still no excuse.
Right.
Standard, I want to say manners.
Yeah. Personal general etiquette. I mean, what if you weren't a freelancer? How would you handle something like this?
If I was an employee,
what if you're an employee? Because well,
I wouldn't be working for that company for long.
You quit
for sure,
or no, you'd be planning to quit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So if somebody called in and was like, "Hey, Philly, I'm getting the same thing you're getting. What do I do?"
Companies, man, people leave management and leadership.
Okay.
They don't leave companies. Right? Nobody wants to find a new job.
Well, I did when I got laid off.
Rarely. Sure, because you got laid off.
Yeah.
But if all things were equal, and it was just the leaders that were, because once you find something that you get good at, this is what you're doing. Usually, unless you're crazy like me, the chances are you're like, all right, I'm gonna do this until it doesn't give me money anymore.
Okay.
Right. But from what I remember from most of my jobs, it was always the boss at the end of the day that made or break my decision to stay there. Was I learning anything from them? Am I learning anything from the work that I'm doing? Do they inspire me? Do I respect them?
Most of them won't even go through that process. For example, the last company I worked for, they were in their own offices. They rarely would come over to the engineering department and just shoot the shit. Or if you wanted to do all those things, like get some inspiration, learn something, get taught something, grow, I actually had to go to them and talk to them and say,
they never came down to check on the team, huh?
Not that often. And they would because most of the corporations that I work for, they would have management of subclass. Have you ever seen the movie The Office?
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
And you had the guys coming over, it'd be great.
Those are the ones who would handle the day-to-day interactions, while the real owners or CEOs or founders of the company would be in their own department.
Sure.
Yeah, they would have barbecues and stuff and hang out and do Christmas holidays, but rarely
you would get to go to those barbecues.
Yeah,
and things like that?
yeah, as an employee.
And how did you like it?
They were kind of fun. I'm a weird character.
But you didn't get a chance to engage with everyone there.
I forced myself to engage in everyone, because I knew if I wasn't talking to anybody, I'd be easier to get fired or laid off, which obviously doesn't mean shit now.
Yeah, the only reason you did it was because you wanted to show that you cared about the company.
I care about the company. I was an established member of the company. Now I learned that maybe I'm just being hard on myself, but after that and a few other companies that I got laid off from, you feel
like it didn't mean shit.
I came to the realization that no company holds you in their best regards regardless. If they want you gone, you're gone.
Did you stay in touch with anybody from your previous jobs?
I do. Yeah, here and there. But none of the higher ups.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, nobody just the other coworkers, employees.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What types of conversations would you have with your higher ups?
I would ask them about the history of the company, how they build it
on a
and create
regular
it.
basis, like day to day.
Yeah. Because they're not going to tell me their whole life story in one thing. So I would find out where they came from, how they established the company, try to find conversations that they're interested in, whether it's sports or movies or something like that.
You made the effort to build a relationship.
Yep.
And did it always seem like they just always had a wall up?
No, not really. Especially the last company. The last company, they really enjoyed conversating with me, and they actually really liked me. And I'm that's why I'm going to really have to believe that they let me, that they really just ran. They couldn't afford me there,
right?
And they let go of other engineers too. And it was the very last day. And this is interesting. I don't think anybody who's listening would ever experience this, or if they were in my boss's position, be like, "What the fuck just happened?" Where my last day, literally last day, where I have to leave and turn in my key, I was still gathering up my things, and I think I was trying to build something too. I can't remember what it was. So the founder and owner of this company, it was just me and him there, and he gave me the usual like, "Yeah, I'm sad you had to go. You're one of the good ones. You know, we just can't afford you. Maybe you come back," something like that. And then he leaves. I still have the key, the codes. I'm locking up the whole place. Oh, wow. I could take whatever I wanted if I really wanted to get back at this company. Right. But he had enough trust in me and believability and connection that he knew I wasn't that character.
Your integrity was there.
Exactly. Yeah. And so maybe that's what I was able to establish
Which is
in
good
the end.
That you left behind like that.
Yeah, and that he knew, because if anybody wants to talk shit, and some of them might, at least this owner or the two owners know that I'm not that kind of character that would do something like that. Right. Meaning anything else that would talk shit about me would know that I wouldn't do that.
Are you connected with this founder on LinkedIn?
Yes. Yeah, I believe one of them. Okay. I have to make sure.
Sure.
I want to say both.
I mean,
but they don't use it.
Just because, oh really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fascinating.
You'd be surprised now. I know LinkedIn's blown up and it's big, and we know Patrick.
There's still definitely not a lot.
There's a lot of people who don't use it. A lot of business people don't use it. They just have it just to have it, like Facebook.
Sure. The reason I ask is just like, even if they don't use it, if you develop a strong enough relationship, you can always ask people to refer you to other companies. You know.
There's a few people out there who I agree, and another shout out to Liz is
Lizzo.
Yeah, helping me hook me up with somebody. Same thing with Francia too. Establishing a good relationship. Your friends can be your Bumble or your Tinder,
like connecting you to a date. Okay.
Yeah, not just jobs.
Yeah,
I know we're on the subject of jobs on LinkedIn, but
the listener is probably what they rolled down their windows. What is he talking? Started asking other people, "Are you listening to this episode too?" Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
I think they know. I don't think I was that subvert. Am I using the right word?
This is the opportunity where you can roll your windows back up and start listening.
It's
going to start making sense right now.
It should make sense when we're talking about Frisco. Speaking of which,
I kind of verged off the subject.
Well, I still want to know, and this is again
diverged. I meant
the idea for people who are listening who never really traveled or want to know what San Francisco's like. I've lived there. But for someone who's never been there, this is your first time.
Right, I didn't get a chance. Yeah, I didn't eat the whole time.
Okay, you didn't see anything.
Didn't see anything. So except from the inside of an Uber.
Oh, okay. When you've flown into SFO, you saw the downtown.
Sure.
Did you see?
Sure. Even when I was taking the Uber through Daly City and all that.
You went through Daly City.
Yeah,
I used to live over there.
Yeah.
Woo, shout out. There's a really good movie over there. I pissed on a building so many times in Daly City.
Keenan, you're incriminating yourself.
Oh shoot, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Wait, is
I'm gonna call
pissing
the
in
cops
public?
on you.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck you.
first of all, that is a crime.
It is?
Yeah,
So many people do it.
it's indecent exposure and
Damn.
damage to property.
What happens if it happens a long time ago?
I don't
Like
know,
statute of
Keenan.
limitations.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
Okay.
And you must have some serious limitations, huh? On that statute.
I
I would neither confirm nor deny.
Whatever I say, I'm just joking. You guys know that, right?
I plead the fifth.
Damn, am I really gonna get in trouble? I don't know.
I'm fucking with you, man.
I doubt people who listen. Wait, is there anybody who are okay? If you're a listener and you're a cop, let me know.
Yeah, because by law you have to let me know.
You have to let me know. Exactly. So let's just say
So people should go to San Francisco.
to go to San Francisco, yeah. And I did some wild stuff in San Francisco.
Yeah, you did. You streaked out there.
Yeah, even that's illegal. So we shouldn't be bringing that up.
Keenan, you're
Yeah.
just one walking mess, man. You're a hot mess.
I am a really hot mess. I had a funny
If any of
conversation.
you listeners out there would like to go on a date with a hot mess, go to Instagram and look up Keenan. That's
Jesus.
Cianan.
You already done this with-
Cianan.
They already
Keenan
know me.
Duncan.
They know me. Under hot mess. I'm gonna start another Instagram, hot mess. I'm gonna do that.
Hot mess.
But no, well, speaking of hot mess, I had a conversation with Raised on TV because I was out there show last night.
Hey, shout outs.
And they're gaining a little bit of audience, was nice. But also we exchanged crazy or stupid stripper stories that
Stupid stripper
stories. And I told them I can't tell
First
you
of all,
what theirs
don't
are.
call. Do you mean like they were like stupid and funny dumb?
Like what
or
we
the
did.
strippers themselves?
No,
were
the
stupid?
story is
Okay,
stupid.
Yeah,
A
that's why you got to
stupid
be
strip-
careful.
Stupid stripper story. Oh wait, okay.
Do you see how what you're saying?
Stupid
sounds,
story with strippers.
Yeah,
No, that
stupid
doesn't work.
stories about my strippers. I
But see,
don't-
they're not mine.
Here
I'm
we
not
go.
taking possession
Here we
of these
go.
women.
All right, all right. We're walking into it here, man.
Okay, so let's just go with what I stated before.
Funny stories about strippers. That's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, it was not. The strippers didn't do anything funny. It was what
Doesn't
the
matter.
situation.
Ironic stories.
Ironic stripper stories.
Okay.
There you go.
Ironic stripper stories.
Okay, so long story short, I gave
Syphilis.
no, 'cause that means I would have to
Chlamydia.
have sex.
Chlamydia.
Wait, you can get,
Blowjobs.
can you get syphilis without?
I don't know. I'm just being
Addison?
ridiculous. Anyways, you were saying.
I gave one of the strippers a cooler full of beer.
In exchange for a dance? What is this?
No,
the
we're supposed-
bartering
we're
age?
supposed to-
I'll give you 4 sheep for a lap
Dude,
dance.
would that work? I totally do that.
Like, I'm bringing,
I have a lemon tree out back.
how many dances can I get for these lemons?
Exactly. Any strippers listening to this podcast, if you want to give me a lap dance for lemons,
Oh my god.
I got 2 right here.
Oh, there it is.
They're swollen. No.
They look more like they're
With the
lemons, but
ring.
not. They're actually limes.
No, but the idea was that we were supposed to hang out afterwards, and then I was supposed to meet up. I can't remember the end result. The end result
You really
was that
gave her lemons?
no beer in a cooler.
Oh, sorry.
I was supposed to. We were on a joking tangent lemons, but the beer in a cooler. We were supposed to hang out. I don't know. I kid you not. I forgot the reason why. I handed it over to her, thinking that we were gonna meet up and drink it later somewhere, and then I haven't heard from her since. So she like
Damn.
took my cooler with beer, and the conversation.
Jedi mind tricked you.
I know.
These are not the hoes you were looking for.
Exactly. And I was like, it was funny because the guys from Raised on T were
And
laughing.
you were like,
their ass
take
off.
my beer.
Well, the joke was that I said I wasn't going to.
Did you at least pay her for a dance?
Oh, I had a lap dance.
So you
with
paid her
before.
for a dance and you gave her beer for
Well,
free.
we were on.
Well, first of all, what'd you do? Where are you
We're
doing
in a-
taking a cooler to? You can bring your own alcohol there.
No, you can't. So I gave it to her outside. See, I don't want to go into like a lot of full details because
fair enough.
the dumber
Fair
I
enough.
get when I
Okay.
talk about it.
And then
So
she asked me for my social security
I
number.
know. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. I was a single guy. I was horny.
I'll do anything, anything to get it in the flap.
But basically, the story was that I gave her this beer and then she took it and never gave it back to me.
Thirst trap.
Um,
Damn, man.
But I learned my lesson then. Never gave a stripper beer.
You mean
since
never
then.
give?
Give.
Oh, well,
Gave.
actually,
Well, I haven't been back in, like, years.
I'm glad.
been like
dude.
years.
I'm glad. It's a hard profession, but it's definitely not one that's a cheap hobby to entertain.
Well,
you know?
no, the best thing that I
It
think
was affordable.
well, it kind of was, but
Is it really?
yeah, well, some places. The thing I think about the aspect of strip clubs, and a lot of times from women who judge strip clubs and strippers and the guys who go there, especially, I feel don't really realize
The service to the
the
community.
service that they well, not just the community, but the people who go. There's a reason. If guys just go there just to see tits, we can go online for that. You know, there's
Sure.
a interaction of somebody making you feel like you're the king of the castle every time you walk in, regardless. You don't
External validation.
Yeah,
sure.
you don't get any sassy bad lip from
Whoa,
any of
Keenan,
them
whoa,
as much
whoa,
as you
whoa,
think.
whoa.
No, I'm going serious in this. There's a
You've been warned.
fantasy. There's a euphoric fantasy of because certain
It's
guys,
an indulgence.
a lot of
right?
guys don't want a lot of what do you call it? Is it talk back is a good terminology for that? for the sense because you hear a lot of guys complain, oh my girl does this, she talks about this, oh she's on me about this, blah blah blah, blah. And then he would go to a strip club and it's like, well, why do you go to a strip club? It's because a lot of them don't really do that. Even though you're paying for that kind of service,
Sure. That is the exact service.
that's the
To
reason
feel
they're
like a
going there.
king.
It's not just tits and ass because you can get that anywhere.
I also do think though, and I'm going to interject here, just add my 2
Yeah.
cents, right? Just my own personal opinion. If you're having those types of conversation with your partner, it's not something to just overlook either.
Most of them have, and they do
well, yeah,
something
right.
else. Yeah.
Most people do, and one of those escapes,
Or they
is-
cheat.
Right.
They
right.
cheat or they go to strip
Right.
clubs.
And so it's not like they're, and I'm not saying that I enjoy having those types. Those are called difficult conversations, no matter who you are.
Mhm.
What I'm saying though is going to the strip club is fine, right? Especially if you're going there to avoid, anytime you're doing anything for avoiding things.
Right. And I'm not speaking to all women either. Just the interactions I hear and the conversation I have with the dudes for the reasoning. I'm talking
Right.
about the reasoning.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what I'm adding to that is I'm
Mhm.
saying if they're literally leaving the house because they're like, you know what, I don't want to hear it, Susan. You're always in my ear.
Right.
And they go and then they show up at the strip club and they're like, that's exactly what I
And
need.
feeling great and all that stuff.
You
Yeah.
know, you don't complain to me at all.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
I think those people are going to continue to live unhappy lives.
Yeah, because you got to go back to that.
Yeah, you do, and you have to address it.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody yells at someone for no reason, unless the partner, man or woman, is really crazy, and then
And then you have to get out of that.
yeah, that's
kinda shit.
yeah, but that's you can see that. But if you feel like you just don't want
Can
to,
you?
yeah, you can.
Haven't you seen people? I've seen a lot of people in relationships like that. And when this goes back to Joe about love and beating people up, they would get in fights and get beat.
Sure,
They
sure.
would,
Okay, yeah,
Right?
sure. For all things, there are exceptions to every rule.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is I just wanted to put it out there because my suspicion is that if someone listens to this and they hear you go, the reason why I love strip clubs is because women don't talk
Oh,
back.
I'm not talking about you're adding stuff.
No.
My
But
shit.
what I'm saying is that's how I interpreted it, and I may not be the only
Your
one.
interpretation.
I know,
but we
yeah.
can't speak for the audience.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. And so just to be safe, I wanted to make it clear that you weren't just saying the only reason I go there is because women don't talk.
That's
back to
because of
me.
the way I phrase it.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to say.
You gotta listen to the way I phrase it, Philly. Just like the
How did
people
you
out
phrase
there.
it? How did you phrase
I
it?
phrased it as the reasoning of what I heard
Yeah.
of the people that go there and the
But
conversation.
you never
I've
said why
had.
you go there. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
We got to see. I'm careful.
I know you are.
Yeah,
But you're so and it was so careful. Even I missed it, and I'm sitting right across from you.
I know. What's
So
up,
what?
Philly?
So what I'm saying
What's your
is
problem?
that's why I took the time to clarify this.
You're just like those women.
Oh Lord, bless your
I always
soul.
just did my. No, I'm just kidding. But
Why do you go there, Keenan?
I explained this bajillions of times. So for the bajillionth and one time,
Uh-huh.
I went there to build up confidence
Gotcha.
to talk to
Gotcha.
women who look
Gotcha.
like that.
Right. So you were not worried about somebody making you feel like a king or some kind of external validation.
Well, that's an added. So that's an added thing too.
Gotcha.
I'm doing the stupid thing and I'm analyzing the situation I'm in while I'm there. Maybe because I'm bored and I'm just going there looking at scenarios and figuring things out, or maybe that's just the way I am, figuring
Sure.
things out and
Sure.
the reasons why and stuff like that. And the people that I interact with and talk to who tell me these stories.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stories that I get from a lot of the women who are there about the angst of the kind of guys that come in and all they do is touch and they don't follow rules and stuff like that. I get a lot of information from everybody. But on the subject of the reason why most guys go there, I can formulate a hypothesis and say,
based on what they've told you,
based on what they told me, which usually generally coincides with the way they're being treated by their spouses or girlfriends or something like that, why they're there.
I mean, for me, if I went there, it really would be to see the tits. I mean, you can see it online, but to be honest with you, there's nothing like seeing
your
in person.
So the first one,
just being honest, but I don't go. But if I did, it would be for that.
Maybe the first one, maybe I say if you were a consistent,
I just don't find myself going, oh, I need to see tits right now.
Well, you have to. Yeah, I'm just saying you have to go there once. You go there once, which may have happened before.
I've been a couple of times, and it was always for somebody else's birthday.
But the way they treated you wasn't as.
I didn't trust it almost as soon as I sat down. Somebody walked behind me, put their fingers behind my ear, and they were like, hey. And I was like, whoa, I don't even know you.
Well, see, for somebody who doesn't get that often, that probably is like, that's probably why they go there. I rarely get this. So when this one woman does it out of nowhere, just chilling, drinking my beer, it's like, oh, this feels great.
I mean, look, my ego is not impervious to being crushed. I just like, I wouldn't go to a strip club for an ego stroke, but I get it.
That's the end thing that I'm saying. Guys go to strip clubs for an ego stroke rather than seeing tits, even though tits is a big key factor.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, big ones, small ones,
little ones that you can like, you know,
slap around. Are you a titty man or
titty
an ass
man? Titty and legs. Ass.
Legs.
Everybody says ass. Now there's some asses out there where I'm like, damn, that's a good ass. You know, flick it, bounce a cord off it, nibble on it.
Sure.
But for some reason, it's always been breast milk for me.
Breast milk. Okay, I was like, wait, what? I wonder if girls ask themselves the same things. Are they like, are you an arms girl or like?
Yeah, they do.
Ass
well,
girl, right?
I'm not going to say
women
yes,
like
they
to
do.
check out men's asses too and shit like that.
As I've heard, let me rephrase what I just said. As I've heard from the women that I've interacted with, yes, they do. Or at least them.
Right. Do they have like a I prefer the arms
for the arms or the
obviously
ass.
the tall is a big thing. They're equivalent, like the taller the guy, that's a feature. Like just like we like.
I've gotten mixed.
Okay.
I've gotten a few where it's like I've ran into one person who's as tall as me, if not a little bit taller, was like, I don't care, or in a sense, like I'll totally take a short man. He just has to be okay with me being a tall woman.
Right.
And
I
was like, okay,
no problem with that.
Yeah.
My ego is not hurt by it.
Yeah. And there are places for women to go to see men. Like there are not female strip clubs, male strip clubs. I guess that's how you phrase it, right?
Strip clubs where the males are the dancers.
Where the males dance. There's something for both.
Yeah, it's called. Yeah.
I mean, there's even things for like. There's some weird shit out there. There's stuff for everyone. There's
so you're a titty man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm and legs. Legs are important.
Legs.
I had a big argument with Joe about.
So what do you mean by legs?
From the shape from the bottom of the butt down to the ankle.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like thighs included.
Thighs. Thighs. Not so much kneecaps could care less, but the whole the length of the leg, the whole leg.
Sure.
That's why I like tall girls myself.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
They don't have to be super thick. Skinny. Right. I'm not big on skinny.
Right.
Are you a skinny dude?
Yeah.
Like
well, I do tend to like my girls petite, just in general. And I don't mean like, oh, they need to be skinny. No, I'd like that model skinny. That's not really my thing.
Right.
I also don't have anything against people who are just generally naturally thin.
Right. But what is it that you like?
Me?
Because you keep saying don't. I don't. What is it that you do?
More than anything is a pretty face, man.
So a pretty face. So they can be, you know,
like the smile,
chubba wubba, and then you're like, oh, but her face is so cute.
Well, they have to express some degree of control over their fitness.
Exercise.
Because I exercise.
Athletic.
You know, I'm not in like the best shape of my life or anything, but I try to keep it together.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I expect the same from whoever I'm with. You know, and again, I'm not perfect, so I don't have some unbelievable standard either. You know? Like I could stand to eat a slice less. You know, I could stand to leave a couple of slices in the box of pizza. Right. But I'm also working hard to keep myself up.
Oh, you know? Okay.
And I'd appreciate the same for my partner, but it really is the face, man. If someone's got that smile, whatever, everything else is fine.
Now, what would happen? And I was hoping to get this on Joe because we had this whole conversation. But what would happen if the face got like all scratched up, like a werewolf came out of nowhere and just scrapped her on the face, and now she's just mangled.
Actually,
like her
I
lip
pay
hanging
attention
out.
to the facial features,
Mhm.
and then also I like them to have a general sense of fashion,
Well,
style, whatever.
is there something wrong with that? Is and I'm there. I'm pretty sure I'm asking this as a legit question. Is there really something wrong with if something happened to your partner's body,
Yeah.
face, or for me tits or whatever,
Right.
and you decide, hey,
Well,
I'm not really attracted
if I
anymore?
built like a relationship with that
Yeah.
person, obviously. But if I'd like just met them the other day and then the next day the guy, I'd be like, well,
Sorry about that werewolf,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I hope they catch him.
no. But if I had to choose between titties and ass,
Uh-huh.
if we were keeping it binary, right? I think I think I'd be an ass man.
Okay.
Only because you only need so much titty to really make me happy. And really you
What
only
does that
you really
mean?
only need so much ass. But I know that during sex, I like to grab the ass while, like for
Oh, because that's
for
because you hit
better
it.
not just from hitting it from the back, just
Oh.
in general. It's one of my things. I like to go there.
So how are you grabbing the ass
What do
when
you
you're
mean?
69?
69. Well, that's different.
Okay.
You're not gonna grab ass with. Well, yeah,
I mean,
you can. You
but-
can. In fact, I like my thumbs to kind of
Massage
hover
the hole?
over the hips, like
Okay.
like just above. Especially like if I'm going, you know what I mean.
I'm trying to picture you fucking. So hold your hand.
Don't do that.
Hold your
Listen-
let me get this right.
So if the hip is
Use me as a model. Am I facing
no,
you?
no.
Let me
this
get
is-
up with ladies and
This is
gentlemen. real
this is getting out of hand here. Cianan.
quick. Okay.
Suffice it to say
Yeah.
that I love women.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's obvious.
but definitely
So the butt, the whole butt.
Yeah.
Now, when you say like,
we're gonna get down to the specifics.
only so much. I mean, are we talking like? For me, I always said, okay, I'll go first. I'll make you feel
Okay.
comfortable, Philly.
I don't need to feel comfortable. That's cool.
This is the new. We're gonna get away with a whole bunch of shit
I
today.
can't believe we're ranting on what
On
we
tits and
prefer-
ass, and I'm
yeah,
holding
this-
my hands up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm
this is-
grabbing some like monstrosities,
If this is not your jam while we're driving,
or if it is, put on that lube and take them off and go nuts. I won't judge.
Do you use lube, Keenan? Do you believe lube is a healthy part of a sex life?
Well, okay, if at some moments, which has happened to me, I will keep this as vague as possible. But if I'm going in,
Yeah.
and there was no use of like foreplay or anything,
Right.
it was just your person rolled over and we're going at it,
Right.
then I definitely want to use some.
Okay.
However, when those cases, because they don't want to use it, because apparently certain lubes only works with certain types of bodies, they could get
Okay, yeah,
infections,
sure,
not
sure,
infections,
sure,
rashes or chemical reactions.
Right. Right.
Obviously the go-to is the spit.
I've never
used spit?
I've never used spit. I also have never had to.
So
use
wouldn't it
lube.
hurt? Because it hurts.
I always do foreplay, man. No
Oh,
matter what.
I know, but okay. So we have
But
to give you the scenario. If there's no foreplay,
Right.
what do you do?
Then there's no sex for me.
Oh my god!
I know.
You fucking liar!
No.
I don't
Straight
fucking
up,
believe
dude. Straight up.
We're gonna have a poll right now,
Oh
ladies and
my
gentlemen.
God.
If anybody's listening, believes
That should be the name of this
Billy's-
episode. If there's
gonna-
no foreplay, there's no
No
sex.
God.
Remember your training.
There you go. That full
It
bit.
still stands.
I don't. Oh god.
I have patience, man.
Yeah, but if you're ready to go and she's ready to go and she's like, let's do this, and like, yeah, let's do this.
But if she's ready to go, then she'd be wet.
Okay, technically, yes. Well, then maybe I'm just banging some old ass people that
That's how you know
need a
she's ready to go when she's wet.
little river in the Nile.
That's
over
why I
here.
always, check the oil.
Mhm.
I go in there and if it's ready to go, I'm like, oh, I
Okay.
can't tell you the number of times I've said to myself or to the partner I'm with or whatever, oh shit, you're wet, and like
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite part of the day.
Mm.
Keaton's like,
Wake up with a Folgers in your cup.
the best part of waking up is finger banging you.
That should be the name of this
The
episode.
best part of waking up is finger banging you.
Please, Philly, please, can you make that the title of this episode?
People are going to be like, what?
Exactly. And they'll listen to it. Of course, I have to get like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, they'll
into
be like,
it.
what does San Francisco have to do with finger banging?
Oh, anyway, I would say, at least for me, in the past, there was a moment where both parties, me and the other person, were ready to go, and it was like during like sleep. So you rub and roll over, and then okay, I guess we're doing this.
Right.
I'm ready to place it in the position,
put it in, right. You're ready to penetrate.
But
right?
as I'm slapping it and rubbing it with my own genitalia, it's obviously not as moist as it should.
You gotta do your job, man.
So
you gotta get it moist.
It was
man.
well, I mean, yeah. So
although, like, if some people really don't have the time, I'm not trying to shame anybody for using lube.
I know, don't shame me, Philly.
I'm not trying to. Don't misunderstand
nature's
me.
lube.
Don't misunderstand me. Like, you know what I mean? He said
I was told that fucking alligator dung was used in the Egyptian period for lubrication. Isn't that some crazy shit?
That was before medical science. Bro.
Fuck, dude. Who would have thought? Oh yeah, I would just pick up this pile of alligator poo and put it on my dick and then shove it in
somebody
you.
thinking they can drink milk from a cow, dude.
I guess so.
What were they thinking?
I know. Damn, that's weird.
So again, so just to make it clear, I don't shame anybody for using lube. I think it's fine. Like,
or spitting.
Or spit.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're practicing safe sex and it's not if it's your partner, then fine, unprotected sex, whatever, right? But if otherwise, if you are having fun out there in the world, condoms have enough lubrication on them.
Please use condoms, by the way.
Or at least, have that conversation with your partner and both of you guys be on the same page about what's going on,
Yes.
Because it's speaking of which, with the whole coronavirus thing,
I was gonna say,
yeah, people
can you saw
that
from
you saw that meme, but it's like people are worried about that shit and they're like, oh, wash your hands, this and that, but most people don't even have safe sex,
That's true.
And we're worried about fucking
making people wash. I mean, that's because people got to start dying from fucking, which they did in the 80s, and all of a sudden people were taking more precaution, as you would think they would, but then it died down, and then more people started going back to just and I use the condoms that have the lubrication already on it.
Yeah.
A lot of them already do have that.
Yeah.
Especially the thin ones too. I use the thin ones, and those don't, as much surprising as you think, they don't really break as often. I mean, as far as I use them, they haven't broken.
Right.
And so thin ones are good.
The technology has moved so far.
We're not using sheep skin or whatever, intestines, or weird shit they did back in the day. My God, somebody had to put their dick in that, man, and be like, "Oh, this works." And some lady had to accept a dick with sheep intestines on top of it.
What's crazy is there was a side note here. There was once somebody I was having some fun with for a while, and they were allergic to the latex and condoms.
Yeah.
So they actually bought like a specific, I think it was like sheep skin, something like some kind of,
because it worked,
some kind of thing like that.
Yeah, some people are allergic to latex.
There's like a Trojan version where it has that, and I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I couldn't tell the difference putting it on. It was a condom, but in my head, I was like, wow.
See, back in the day, you'd have been that dude looking at that sheep and be like, I wonder if I cut it, it's already dead.
I did that out of respect for the person I was having fun with.
Not well, they told you up front.
Yeah, they were like, hey, by the way,
I'm allergic to Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what are we going to do about it? And they were like, well,
don't have sex.
No, because I was like, because I'm okay with not doing anything. Yeah. And they were like, no. I actually brought some of my own. And I was like, dope.
See, that's the scenario I'm trying to give to you as best as I can, where it's like, this person really wants to do it. So do you, but you don't have the time. There's gotta be something, like you had to have at least attempted the whole spit thing. Like, oh, we got 2 seconds to get this on.
Nah, dude.
You've always had time for it.
Just generally speaking, I
no
can't
back alley.
I can't recall like having a quickie.
No trash can in the back of the Walgreens.
I take my time with it, man.
Okay.
And if I can't take my time with it, I don't do it. Because then what's the point, man?
Where is, if you're willing to admit this, where is the like dirtiest place? Don't say the name of the person, but where is the dirtiest place you've done it?
Dirtiest?
Mm-hmm. And this can be for the audience too.
Like, I mean, I've had sex on the beach. That's
not dirty. I mean, sand.
Yeah, because what do you mean, like in a back alley next to a dumpster?
That's what I just suggested.
If you're having sex next to that, bro,
or in the dumpster,
no. So,
damn,
that's not how I do it.
Because people try to do it in planes, they try to do it on buses,
Mile High Club, all that shit.
Yeah, is there?
I don't know.
Is there a term for a bus?
Why are you having sex on a bus?
I don't know. People do that, at least in those Japanese porn I'd be watching.
Anyways.
Anyway, side note, shout out to Joe, Japanese porn. Yeah, so the real question I had
the
for
traffic on the 405 has not improved.
I took a picture of it. This is still in relationship to relationships, women, men. I mean, it seems like our theme is still going strong for
You took a picture
men
of
and
what?
women. This statement. This was on the internet, and it was based off of what's that guy comedian with the mustache? Steve Harvey. So it's based off of Steve Harvey in this segment that he had this couple, and the lady and the couple, they lived together for about 5 years or so.
Okay.
They were boyfriend, girlfriend for like a year or two before they moved in. And the girl was like in front of this whole audience on national television in front of Steve Harvey and this panelist she was like, help me make this dude marry me because I'm sick of waiting. That was pretty much the gist of that whole conversation. And I was watching this on the internet, and one of the statements, and it'll be a question, lead up to a question to you. I thought this was hilarious, and we can see if you agree to it. But on the topic of waiting for someone to marry you, and in this case, kind of forcefully, because she did it on national television.
Okay.
This person said, just because he dated you for 7 years doesn't mean he's going to marry you. My uncle studied medicine for 6 years. He's now a DJ. And that was done by a person named Cynical Optimist.
Oh, shit.
And I thought that was fucking hilarious. Because I come from a lot of people around me saying, Keenan, you can change your mind. You don't have to stick to something. This is for everything. When I say everything, I mean everything.
You're always allowed to walk away from something.
Right.
Just know that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wait, so what's the question, though? You said it was going to lead to
the assumption of having...
are you obligated to marry someone if you've been with them for that long?
For a certain amount of years.
Right.
Yeah.
I personally, just keep in mind my personal biases.
That's why I'm asking the question. Yeah.
I personally don't really believe in the institution of marriage.
Okay.
Me personally.
You're not the only one.
Right. There are a lot of people. Yeah. And if you are married, I think that's great, especially if you're happy and it's working for you. You know what I mean? Don't get anything I say wrong. And because I don't believe in the institution of marriage, I personally don't see any reason why I have to marry someone. Now, loyalty, fealty, and that kind of thing, if we've been together for like 6-7 years and like that, yeah, that's clear. You know, if you're with someone, like be with them, you know, serve and be a good partner.
What do you do if she says at year 7, Philly, if you don't marry me, I'm out?
Well, I would like to ask, what is it about marriage itself that's so important to you? Is it just having a ceremony and a bunch of friends around so you can show the world like symbolically that we're going to be together forever? Or is it because you want to have the fantasy lived out of you wearing a dress and the whole thing, you know? And if that is the case, do you understand what it requires? Do you understand also what we're asking of other people? You know, like destination weddings and shit like that. Like, I'm going to have somebody fly out somewhere and make it all about me and this and that. Like,
I have 2 that want me to go to North Carolina.
Like there are things to consider, you know?
Yeah.
And like you being together, if you want the ring to feel more secure, like first of all, if you're having problems with your feelings of security being with me, that's another thing, you know? If you just want to sign a paper and say we're married and, you know, whatever, then fine. But I got to ask why. What is your reason? Well, because we've been together for so long, okay? And are you afraid I'm going to leave you? You need a contract to feel secure?
Right.
Like, I would ask those questions. I would get as much clarity as possible.
And I wish that was on the show. I wish they asked that question. Maybe I have to go back and watch the whole thing.
Because it's a great position to take.
Because it was a segment. Yeah.
Because think about it. A lot of the times, just like when we get mad, we're not mad for the reason we think we're mad. It's always something that we're not saying to ourselves or to others. And the same goes when we like someone or love someone. It's never for the reasons we think. You know, it's deeper. It's somewhere in the back. We usually don't tell ourselves the truths. And so whenever something like a life-changing decision like that's taking place, you got to ask for some clarity so you can have confidence, so you can go and execute.
Right.
But if your reasons for wanting this don't align with my personal values, the answer is no. And if you're truly that unhappy and you're that unsatisfied and you're that uncertain about who we are and what we are, then maybe we need to reconsider what this relationship really is.
Okay. Yeah. Good answer. And good
And you
format.
can buy my book, Pushing Past the Norm. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. How many sales do you got so far?
50 books.
50 books.
Yeah.
I wonder,
which is crazy, man. And I'm very grateful.
I wonder who was it that bought your 50th book to celebrate your 50th purchase. I'm pretty sure it was somebody close to you, maybe, but it could be somebody like just random.
I think most people who purchase the book are people that know me, you know.
It might be, but I wonder, because 50 is a really special book. Like, you know, that's like the 50th anniversary. It's almost like in segments. You know what I mean? But
you're one of those dudes that celebrates like month-long relationships. It's our 30-day anniversary.
I'm just saying there might be somebody out there who you can give a signed copy to somebody.
Are you good at that in relationships?
What?
Like, what's your position on celebrating? Like, there's the 30 days.
I like celebrations of anything.
This is our anniversary.
I like holidays and stuff. I like any excuse to
celebrate,
to do some type of celebration.
But and more specifically, in your relationship, did you actively pursue those kind of things? Like, this is our 6-month anniversary or 1-year anniversary.
I attempted to, but the person I was with, I didn't think was really big into it.
Okay.
Which also could have been a sign that they weren't really into the relationship.
Sure.
I
mean, any number of things. But you particularly, do you like take the time to think of like, what could I plot as a date?
I would like to do that. I don't want to do it as a full-on surprise. A lot of times people are like, oh, surprise, it's our blah, blah, blah. I would like it to be known, but I do like doing the not 1 month anniversary, maybe half a year to a year.
Okay.
Something that can remind myself,
right,
and you know, us as together, that this is why we like each other. We take a chance to do a moment to ourselves, regardless of the situation, because there might be situations where there's a whole year where we have trouble trying to connect or see each other or be together. And we might be frustrated, like, oh, we never really get to see each other kind of thing. At least there's this one moment in the year.
Gotcha.
Twice, at least, guaranteed 6 months and 12, that we sort of have to be together.
This truly special our time moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of,
I respect that, man.
Yeah, in my mind, it does sound a little forceful, but if the other person's with that.
No, I think it's thoughtful.
Yeah.
I think it's thoughtful.
And
I'm actually pretty bad at it. Do you like.
Nothing big. So we're not talking like.
Right, sure.
Like candlelight beach, like the whole beach is lit candles kind of thing. But it would be like something personal.
Thoughtful and relevant, right?
Yeah.
Do you, like, even the idea of planning dates, are you good at planning dates?
I want to say yes. So I like to
And do you think we should be like, as men should take more of an active role in planning the dates?
I think you should alternate. As in, but not like a signed contract. Okay, this is mine, this is yours. If you do it twice in 1 month, fine. You do it twice in 1 year, who cares? As long as it's a mutual agreement that you'll switch every once in a while.
Right. Like you'd like for your partner to also take some time to make some plans.
Or there's a moment where we can split the day. Like the morning, I get to do something breakfasty. At night, you get to do something dinnery.
Right.
And vice versa.
Just showing that you're thinking of each other.
Right.
Okay.
And then it doesn't have to be over the top. Now, I don't think this person listens to this show enough for me to talk about them, but there is
warning. Windows up.
There is someone who likes to plan a lot and likes to plan for their partner and get their partner's friends involved, and make it always a surprise. And it's like, even for like, and you don't really have to do that. At least for me, it can happen maybe on my birthday or something like that, but you don't have to sneakily grab friends and family. And then we meet up at a location and then you walk me in and like, oh, it's a big thing.
Right.
Especially at this age at 36, maybe in my 20s.
Right.
But now it's just like, it's better that we do something kind of like my birthday. I did it on my own. I called everybody and I went to them. I didn't do
chill, low key.
No central connection, but seeing this person do this, and I was involved in one of those moments, kind of got me a little frustrated. Where I was like, oh, okay, I don't think I want
out and everything.
Yeah, I don't think I want somebody.
To be perfect.
Yes, you have to arrive at this time. You got to do this. You got to sit here. You got to be at this. They're planning for someone else's
damn near
fun,
a wedding, right?
But it doesn't become fun anymore because you're taking the planning part too serious.
Gotcha.
And that person was frustrated when they couldn't contact someone who's a friend of theirs, and they were very restrictive. Like I was at one moment like, oh, can I invite this person to it? I was like, no, it's for them. That person doesn't know your friends, so they can't come. And I don't want to be.
So it was like this whole thing.
I don't want to be around people like that.
Okay.
And I don't want the person I'm with to be like that. Like, oh, if he doesn't know you, you can't. It's a celebration. We all celebrate.
So on Valentine's Day,
Oh,
is it just the guy that should get the girl something, or would it be nice if the girl got the guy something too?
Sadly, some history with me. I got into a breakup twice from the past several Valentine's days.
Literally break up on Valentine's Day?
Like, or the day before. And I never really got a chance to celebrate Valentine's Day legitimately.
Did you have intentions of doing something that day?
I did.
You had it all planned out?
Only a few things.
Okay.
Not the whole day.
Right.
Even like I said, I don't want to go crazy.
Even if it fell apart, like you were looking forward to it.
Right. So, so I can't, so to answer the question, I would like to do, something I like doing sweet. Those things.
Yeah.
And I think, guys should do something, just a small part.
Sure.
I know I hear from other women, oh, cooking dinner or doing some dishes, something like that. I know that's a sexist stereotype, but that's what I hear from the women around. They should do like a cook and make a good meal or something like that. But I think even if you take your significant other to work, like you're their personal Uber for the day or something like that.
Just something thoughtful, right?
Maybe. Okay. And then the whole time you're playing their favorite music. And because I would kind of go a little further, but I would do something like that. I would be their personal Uber driver for the whole day. I would play their favorite music. We would only talk about the things they want to talk about.
Okay.
We would go to the favorite restaurants they want to go to, stuff like that. And that's sort of my contribution. It's not a big bed of flowers everywhere.
Right.
Although I did do that once. And then I had a LED
you
rope
put
light.
Cream on your
close.
Penis?
I did close. I did. So here's the good thing about me.
Here's a sweet package.
This is for the listeners and ladies who want to date me. With my ex, I had the rose petals. I made her a bubble bath. I bought like these fancy chocolates. Had a Moscato kind of wine. Nothing too crazy, but sweet.
Right.
So I made her bubble bath. Played Zen music in the bubble bath with dim light.
Can never go wrong with some pink Moscato.
Exactly. I had that. I made dinner and fed her the whole time, and then gave her a massage and all that stuff.
Right.
I got a little something at the end of it because I probably did all that cool stuff.
Okay.
But that's the kind of guy I am. I will, for a special occasion of whatever it is, even if it's a horrible day, you have a horrible day at work. She would come home.
Make it that special, right?
I would make it seem like it's a Valentine's Day the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect sex at all. A lot of people think, oh, if the guy does this,
right,
you get sex
to be sweet.
I was not expecting it. The good news is I got some at the end, which is great, but I was not expecting it, and I did all that cool stuff because I kind of enjoy putting on a display. This probably goes back to me promoting, working in music, concerts, building stage. I like
experience itself
of making things. Yeah. Now, if they hate it. I'm like, Keenan, why'd you do all this shit? I don't like it. I'm like, oh.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Then I have to know my partner.
Yeah. It's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually pretty terrible at all that, man. I can't really.
Why would you say you're terrible? You didn't even try or something? Or?
Well, yeah, I just don't try. I don't really plan dates and things like. And it's less to do with me whether I care enough or not, and more just. I mean, to be frank, most of my relationships never really go past just shy over a year.
But you've been on dates, so you had to have planned something.
Yeah, but I don't consider them dates. I feel like they're more like meetups because it'll be like for coffee or maybe some dinner. It's not
no movies, no ice skating, no roller skating.
Sure, movies have happened, things like that. But like I don't know. For me, the idea of a date always seems like you're like, hey, wear this dress. We're going here. No questions asked. That kind of shit.
I tried that once. It didn't go so well because
or like planning a trip to Big Bear or like shit like that. Like I don't do that.
Well, is okay. Well, here's my question. Is this a bad thing for me?
What?
If I suggested, and I got both answers. I did ask women this too, but if I suggested a certain dress to wear,
a turt.
If you want to, if I want you to wear a turt,
wear this turd.
Yeah. A certain dress that I purchased and I made sure it fit and all that stuff.
Right.
it was a little risque, but it wasn't like Fredericks from Hollywood kind of shit.
Okay.
For you old cats out there who know what Fredericks from Hollywood is. But
Mommy.
I know. Yeah. But it showed the body off.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I want you to. I think you're hot. I think you look good in this. I
want to show you all.
Yeah, but not in a demeaning way. I meant
like, I love the way you look in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't care if a bunch of guys look at you. I want that to happen.
Sure.
This dress, I think, would do that.
It didn't go as planned.
I didn't think they really liked it as much as I did. They liked it, but maybe not as much as I did with them being a ooh la la. I'm now.
They weren't all into it.
Yeah.
They weren't like Mr. President and all that.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
But then again, as we discussed many times in the show and the people I spoke to, it's the person that you're with. Maybe I eventually I will find somebody who likes doing that.
Yeah, I mean that falls under the category of like role play and things like that, and people who get into. Yeah, you got to find somebody who's into doing things like that with you, right? Like, because then almost anything you do can be an adventure.
And then the same thing for you. So you have to find somebody who isn't into planning dates and planning this and doing all that stuff.
Because they're just as workaholic as I am.
And just exactly.
We're like, is that even practical?
And then you do a little quick meetup at a coffee shop for Valentine's Day.
I mean,
something like that.
It's sad, but that's exactly the kind of relationship that then like 15 years down the line is like, they're talking to their girlfriends and they're like, yeah, so Jack took me out to Big Bear and we did this and this, and then the woman sitting there with her friends thinking, well. And like, so what did you do?
He never did either.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And then there's that peer pressure of like, how come you never know?
So is that your fear?
Where it may not have even been a problem before that was brought up, you know? But now that all your friends are doing it, it's like, well, we've got to keep up. And then again, for that very reason, I wouldn't do it just because like that's why you want to do it. It's more about the friends thing than it is about us doing something special.
Well, maybe it sparked something internal that she needed to hear from somebody else to go like, well, I kind of want that too. Maybe I don't know.
Well, yeah, if they present it like, and it made me realize we never do something like that.
Right.
I would literally, whether it put me in the doghouse or not, I'd be like, okay,
yeah.
The reason you want to do this is because it'd be nice to go do something, or it would be nice to be able to share with your friends a story about you going out to do something. Because that's a totally different reason.
Well, is there something deeper for you about why you don't do it? Because we know why you would.
Yeah. No, I personally just. I'm like working on too many things right now. I don't even take time out to go do shit for myself, you know?
Well, now we might be getting something deep. This could be something even deeper than that. So why not for yourself?
Like I don't even celebrate Christmas, Halloween. You know how bad it is to get me to come out.
And so the same thing I bet you there are listeners who might feel in the same position as you are. Is like, why should I celebrate this Thanksgiving? It's not, I'd rather be working or something like that.
Right, and it's less to do with like rather be working and more to like, I don't know. And you're
like
right.
Friends,
I hope other people may be able to relate. Personally, I just don't see the hype. Number one,
and this is for anything as far as relationship wise, anything in a relationship.
Yeah,
the hype of not impressing, but the dating,
just yesterday, for example.
Okay.
Perfect example. I found myself with a couple hours in the evening that I usually don't have. I was like, oh shit, I actually don't have to chase some project. And I was like, what should I do? Should I go see a movie? I was like, nah, it's going to take all my time. Like just a movie. Should I hit somebody up, go get something to eat? And I was like, wow, American life is like, especially in the evening. It's like, what are you going to do? You're going to go buy something, shop somewhere, spend some money, do something, right? And it's like, I was like, wow, we other than going to a bar and getting shit faced or smoking some blunts and getting really high,
right,
or going to buy something, what else is there at night, right? Like if it was the day, at least if I found myself with hours in the day, I'd be like, okay, let me go to the beach, let me go for a hike. So I don't know, something,
right? But
but in the after hours,
yeah,
like things are closing, there's nothing to fucking do.
This is so trippy.
And I was like, well, I guess I could read a book,
Was this last night?
Yeah, this was last night.
Like Saturday night. Or Friday night.
It would be Saturday night. Yeah.
Fuck. You know why I thought this was close. If this was Friday night, this would be so fucking universal weird shit.
Because you had the same feeling on Friday
night?
The
exact same thing Friday night at like 10 o'clock. Because it's around that time where it's like, well, I should already have been there.
Right.
Or if I get there, it'll be kind of late or, something like that.
I don't think it's only you or it's only me.
It's probably a lot of people. I mean, I didn't leave the house.
Yeah.
And I told when I went to see Raised on TV last night on Friday, I was like, I was out here. I traveled far. I went way deep. I was close to Chino last night just to see this one band play because on Friday I was like, I'm up, I'm awake, I want to do something. No, this is going to cost. If I go to the restaurant, this is going to cost. If I go to the bar, I know a few bars, but it's 10 o'clock. If I get there, it's like, I took too long analyzing why I couldn't go out when I really, really wanted to go out.
Well, you wanted to do something, right?
So anything.
And I had a conversation with someone, and they were saying the same thing. They were like, I almost don't even know what I like to do anymore.
Yeah.
And I understood
how did that happen?
And you know what's funny is I actually was even like, this is why having a house would be dope, because then I could put together a little bonfire in the back, invite some people to just come hang out.
Maybe because I have a house and I didn't do that shit. I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah, but do you see what I'm saying? It's like, there are things that we want to do, and sometimes we don't even know what that is, and we don't even know what we don't like. We don't even know why we don't know what to do right now with this free time, because
the internet or our phones.
I think it's because of the internet, but and the lack of connection with people in general. I also think it's the American culture of constantly working, and then the only thing that can satiate that is retail therapy, because just being alive isn't good enough.
Is that why Joe's a consumer?
Probably, because the workaholism and retail therapy really do go hand in hand in a big way. Yeah. I just think the American culture, especially in today's day and age, is so much so that only few people, if ever, get lucky and they're like, yeah, well, just plan a camping trip, and it's because the people that they hang out with also tend to do that. Like for all the people I know and spend time with, I'm not always with a group of people. I'm not one of those person that has a group of friends and we constantly stay in touch. Like
we almost did back in the day.
We almost did back in the day, but I'm not one of those. I'm not a tribe person.
Right.
It's cool. I like being parts of tribes, but I don't like. I'm not a wolf pack constantly traveling with a wolf pack, and we know all each other's.
Because I did go somewhere last night when you were bored. You could have hit me up, and we went to go see this
right.
Raised on TV show, which was weird shit because it was a death metal like concert.
Oh, and it's LA, and everybody lives on the complete other side of town. And shit.
Yeah, and you had to travel, and
that's a big turnoff for everyone, especially late in the hours if they're not already nearby.
Yeah, it was so bad for me. I debated and didn't even go to a strip club on Friday. That's how bad it was for me. I was like, what do? I can go to a strip club. Nah, I don't want to go.
Which was a smart choice. We were like, yeah, I don't want to spend the money. You got to go there. Then I got to come back.
The whole analyzation. I did that for everything. Food, strip club, restaurants. I was going through my head, okay, who can I call
that
to go out right now?
It's a serotonin chase.
Is that what that is?
So it's not dopamine. We're not looking for, because we can get dopamine by just opening Instagram right now. Any social media platform. You see the likes, you can comment and someone can like that back or respond to you. That's dopamine. But serotonin is the part of the brain where if you do something on your to-do list, if you clean your room, or your house, if you send that email or write down that idea, your brain gets you get the serotonin boost, and that's like the sense of purpose boost. And I realized that what it is there was no sense of purpose to what I was doing. I was like, well, what's the point? Right? And that's because I was lacking serotonin. Number one, I was underslept. Okay. So that also eventually contributes to some.
I have told you many times.
I know.
Okay.
But I think what it is there's a big serotonin chase now. We're over the dopamine high. It's everywhere. You can find dopamine everywhere. We're chasing for serotonin. Serotonin is the shit that allows you to read a chapter in a book and be like, wow, that was worth it to me.
Damn, I could have read a book. I didn't even read a book. No. But you read a book. So you found your serotonin on
I read
last
a book
night.
And then I got that thing I've been having lately with the insomnia where I was kind of just sitting there and I was like, I don't want to go to sleep. But I know why.
Because you need things to do.
It's the serotonin. No, I need to know what tomorrow looks like. And if I don't know what tomorrow looks like, I don't want to end today.
Okay. Well, I guess it's per person, because I don't get that at all. At least I don't think I do. Maybe I did when I went to that Raised on TV show.
Maybe.
And
I mean, look at the behavior. Like I know when I get like that, I start wanting to eat late night or do anything to avoid going to sleep. Like a stress eat. That's what it's called, right? Or, you get the urge to like, I don't know, hit somebody up who you normally wouldn't even think about. You're like, oh, maybe I should hit this person up. Like, nah.
We could have went to downtown.
But you see what I'm
You know what
saying?
I'm
It's like,
talking
but
about.
it's not. It's you're not like thinking of like, oh, we should hang out because I haven't seen this person in a while. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, I need a fix. I need attention. Or I need this, and it's like, those are all the like that. When I feel like that, I don't hit people up specifically because I know that my reasons for doing so are less about me caring and more about me wanting to get some kind of fix off for myself. And I will not subject anyone to that poor development in my character.
Oh, well, that's totally different from me because I used to like doing that when I was in college. The people I knew so many people and hung out, knew the city that when there was a night like, hey, let's go out and do this. Call a few people, we go out and do it. It was kind of fun, but maybe subconsciously it was all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, only you would know.
Yeah.
If you pay enough attention to yourself, you'll know.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
so it's yeah. If you've personally as a listener have been like feeling like, wow, like what's the fucking point? Just realize it's a serotonin drip that you need.
And if you want to go out and do something spontaneous, call up Keenan.
Because hashtag always a good time.
Exactly. And you know my
Keenan
Instagram
always
now,
has
thanks to
events.
Philly.
Yeah. Keenan always has an event lined up. I don't know how he does it, but he does.
Pretty much. I mean, I got the San Francisco thing. I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff up there. Then when I come back, oh, well, I could say it. I was gonna. Nah, I don't have to say it for my soapbox, but I've been mentioning them too much. I actually think I'm gonna go on a tour with the band Raised on TV, and then like document that.
Oh, really?
Only onto 3 cities: San Diego, Tucson, and Phoenix for like 4 days.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that long.
That's gonna be cool.
Depends. My sign business is kind of picking up a little bit, so
You have some extra cash.
if
You can
that-
hold
yeah.
it down. Okay.
yeah. And they, from their stories, they live cheap on the road, so it's doable. But
Okay.
if somebody calls in and asks for a sign to be built, I kind of have to cancel it.
Or
And
you can
that's-
just tell them I'm in town at this point. Does the project warrant us waiting until then? If it works out.
Well, projects
we can-
come first, right? Or the company comes first, right? And your professionalism, what you do.
If someone hits you up for a sign and they say,
That's-
I want it tomorrow,
Yeah.
obviously you can't do that.
Yeah.
However, you could tell them, hey, I'm going to be back in town on this day. If we can begin production then, we can start talking about the details now via email.
Okay. Well,
There's no reason to turn it down.
okay. So I'm gonna say this leads into something I've dealt with a lot at work and people who are listening. When somebody asks you for that, and it does come, like, what do you do when you're at work and someone's like, hey, come in on a Saturday or come in on this day or do this work for me that does conflict with something fun?
With something fun?
Most like, well, fun, going on that
Okay.
tour.
Well, if you have a prior commitment,
Yeah. Most of the time you have
Yeah.
to cancel that fun, right?
not necessarily, it's all about your principles, man,
Okay.
and your goal. What's your goal in life?
Well, how does that look from your superiors when you're like, well, I'm not going to do what you asked me to do, even though it helps the company out or whatever.
Well,
like-
the idea of even caring what your superior or what anybody else thinks,
Mhm.
that's the first thing we need to look at. Like, it's one thing not to be an asshole, to be a gentleman, or a lady and have principles and be classy. That's one thing, right? It's another to care so much about what somebody thinks that you're going to make a decision based on that. I think making a decision based on what somebody else thinks is it can be approved upon as a process for decision making.
Okay.
If your decisions are then instead, when you're making a decision instead, you start to consider things like, okay, well, what's my goal? My goal is this. Well, what's going to bring me closer to the goal? If I help myself relax a little and relieve some of my tension, or should I work under tension and dis-ease? Let's say it all depends on your values, right? Do I want meaningful work more than I want money? Meaning you going on this tour, building that relationship, that's meaningful work. You're going there, you're not just not doing anything, you're not just going, right? You're like helping document. And
Yeah.
it's meaningful work.
And I've
as
never been
opposed
on
to
tour.
as opposed to this random sign, which even if it contributes to your bottom line,
Right.
all it means is another dollar sign. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about like your decision should always be based upon a value or a principle that you hold dear. Is it like, do you care more about relationships and meaning and things with meaning than you do the dollar? Because if it's only the dollar, well, then your value is the dollar, and then the choice is obvious. But it's never a yes or no. It's how many principles and values does this decision add up to, right? Does it give me X, Y, and Z, or will I only get X? Well, this one gives me X, Y, and Z. So that's more across the board benefits than just one.
And there's no, do you think there might be a downside to that aspect when it comes in relationship with, work, money,
There's
time?
there's give and take for everything, and every circumstance is different. And that's why it's important to have principles and values when making a decision as opposed to just some cookie cutter situation.
Okay.
Because principles and values like integrity, truth, punctuality, whatever your values are, right? Learning, education is one of my values, right? So if I can learn something from this experience, chances are I'm going to make the decision to do that instead of something that doesn't teach me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's about a collection of values.
Have that ever conflicted with you within relationships of your significant other or your work where I wouldn't say backfired, but you did try to hold down your values and integrity and they just weren't seeing it. So they cut you loose.
Yeah,
that's happened to you before?
Well, think about the common scenario that they paint out in movies and shows, right? I got a promotion, but it requires us to move to whatever, right? And a supportive partner is like, well, if this matters that much to you, well, let's do it.
But they don't like it.
Right. So again, it comes down to values and principles, and everyone's situation is going to be different. Me personally, if it risked my relationship, I think that goes against my values. I have to figure out why it is. What are the resistance points? Why don't you want to leave? Is it you don't want to leave your own family behind? It all depends. You know what I mean? And again, that no decision is ever going to be perfect. And the best you can do to get as close as you can to a win-win situation is to consider your values.
Okay.
And it's never win-lose, like, oh, you completely lost or I completely won. To what degree?
Right.
You're winning 40% here, but losing 60% there. Like either way you win, it's like understanding something. It's not, I don't understand it or I do understand it. It's to what degree. I understand 75% of this.
Right.
I won 75% here, and that's better than 60% here.
And that's the game of life.
Yeah, it's the game of life. Yeah, remember your training.
And yeah, exactly. Way to bring it back, and way to bring it back for one more topic I was hoping to talk about. Hopefully, we're not running out of time. Is the coronavirus? We mentioned it briefly, but Joe was really all about like, hey, this is
like it doesn't really matter.
Not as big as we may think it may seem. And then as days go by, I'm seeing more and more. Now, this could be to support Joe's theory, but I'm seeing more and more on the news, street signs and shit like that. There's even a picture in this office that says, because of the coronavirus, you need to start, washing your hands and taking care of yourself and all this stuff posted everywhere. Yep. It's not just in front of the refrigerator. It's on like a bunch of walls and shit in this building. So the seriousness, I don't know. I when will you as Philly think you would get actual real concern? Like where it's like, oh, I need to not stay in my house, but I need to be careful.
It's obvious that a lot of people have been paying a lot more attention to talking about it more. As far as the severity being increased, I think there's a lot of people who work in the medical field who are saying it's actually not as big a deal as people make it out to seem. In fact, the flu has killed more people than coronavirus has. That's the type of shit that they're saying.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think it's funny that we have to tell people to remember to wash their hands and just general hygiene. I have this conversation all the time with people. It's like, it's basic. It's basic stuff that even if they didn't teach you at some point as an adult, you got to come across and realize like when you go to the bathroom, wash your fucking hands.
You'd be surprised how many dudes I see just skip out.
I know. Or when you eat food, don't do what Mike Bloomberg did and lick your fingers and then wipe down on shit. Like,
oh yeah.
Have some degree of class.
This is where I'm proud of myself because people kept getting on my case about eating off of other people's plates and sharing food and stuff like that. So in your face, Jennifer, everybody. Kiss my ass.
General cleanliness, brush your teeth, shower, just like, regular shit. I can't believe that we have to remind other adults to do this kind of shit.
Well, and also the respect. There's people who I see like would eat off the floor. Even as adults, like there's something in their brain about
like if a piece of popcorn fell.
Yeah, and they'll totally straight up eat, the 5-second rule, stuff like that. Sure. Even though they're like clean, fresh to death, and all that stuff, They still have dirty.
Fresh to death. You're giving away your age
I
here.
know.
You know, if they're hippity zippity
It's
doodah,
cool.
Dave.
That's rad. Yeah, there's
Isn't that the bomb?
for shizzle. We're just gonna keep going.
Oh, jeez.
But there's people that I've seen who are adults who take care of themselves who will still have these dirty habits because they think nothing will happen to them. And
I mean, nobody's perfect,
when they don't discipline.
but some things really are like, wow.
I mean, I know I have some issues myself, but
Everyone has something.
there's family members that I know that gave me shit about not eating off the floor. I'm like, are you serious? You have dogs and stuff in there.
Sure.
Why are you?
And, and you're really not beholden to answer to anybody for that shit. Like, if
I try to defend myself, but you'd be surprised at my emotion reaction or the consistency of just really close friends and family who would get on my case
about not eating,
not sharing a burger or sharing a meal or something like that,
Right.
and then put me in a label.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I mean we've eaten French fries from the same like fucking tray. That's not a problem for you. I think your problem is more like your fork was all over this. And
Well, if you ate the French fry and then gave me the other half of French fry to eat, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that shit.
Right. Although for some people, like that would be romantic.
Yes,
like,
and they do, and I would like.
But also, I mean, you're also making out and swapping all kinds of other drinks.
So that's the thing. So my defense, as best as I can try and get, because I've been trying to defend myself for this germaphobe bullshit from these people all the
also
time.
have to stop trying to like improve yourself to people, Keenan.
I know, but
fuck that.
I would like to. However, full confession.
What do I know? You know,
the people that say this to me though make it really serious. They would get on. I would get not in trouble, but people would talk down to me because I.
Have I, as a friend of yours who's really close to you, have I ever made you feel this way?
You never shared food with me.
Right, but right. And do I ever get on your case for not anything like?
Sometimes,
like
but
what?
It's not to the extent of what I'm talking about.
Right, so it's not related specifically to
No,
that, right?
yeah.
So there's this whole other group of people that's such a big deal for them that
Huge.
Your friendship would be on the line over it.
Not on the line, but it just makes me feel like I would get upset, and then when I get upset, they're like, "Keenan, why are you upset?" And it's like, "Oh, are you serious?"
Right.
But it's
then it's probably not that big of a deal to them.
To them, the nonchalant.
But they're also very careless about what they say to you.
About how they phrase it, like we talked about before, how they phrase it, how they say it,
and that's probably not the best of friends.
Well, I mean, it's family too. You'd be surprised. That's the title of my episode. Is you should be surprised.
You have your own episode within this episode.
Yeah. Every episode I have one. In my mind, when things don't go the way I like, I just create my own episode in my head. Yeah, but coronavirus is crazy. I freak out a little bit, and the Joe's thing, it is kind of sucky that people go after Asians and Asian food and Asian market because they know at least its first known origination is
its origin was found in China, and people are like, oh.
And then I've heard from somebody, and I kind of believe this too, like it could have developed in the U.S. and then got taken over there, and we just found it out over there.
Sure.
Or
discrimination under any circumstances is like racial profiling is never okay.
And it's funny because as much as in the Black community we're screaming about to not do this, it's funny to see how it's so easy and it comes back up for the Asian market. It's like, see, we're telling you, and it's almost like it's not going to go away. It's like they're permanent. I don't think you'll ever eradicate stereotype or racial stereotype or racism in general. I think it's something that is permanent. I like to find it. One of the things I like to do if I took a time machine is find out the first person
who was racist
and just like slap the shit out of them. But then that would be bad because then they'll be like, "Hey, Black people forever." But I'm kind of curious how that happened because in nomads or nomadic
tribes,
hated each other for where they came from and stuff like that. So
I mean, it's just fear.
Speak to the Anunnaki.
It's just fear.
Yeah,
it's just fear and ignorance is what it is. It's fear of the unknown.
But I'm just wondering where that developed. I'm just general question. I'm like, where did that develop in us as humans? It had to come from somewhere. Like the first human beings on this planet couldn't have hated each other for where they came from, or did they? did the first human beings be like, oh, you're from over there? Fuck you.
I mean, according to was as much recorded history as we can find, and a book I recommend to look further into that is the *Sapiens* by Yuval Noah Harari. It's a good look throughout history of like the development as far as his take on it. And he provides a lot of evidence, a lot of scientific citation that you can go look at. And it's pretty cool, even just among human species, because there was about 5 at a time when we were all developing, and then it came down to the Homo sapien and the Neanderthal types of
and then
humans.
we clashed.
And the problem was that whenever a Neanderthal tried to get together with another Neanderthal, they weren't as likely to reproduce. And sometimes a Neanderthal and a regular Homo sapien could also not reproduce. It was like it was tricky.
Something in the genetic code of the two species.
And it just so happened that Neanderthals were also more likely to feel at ease being like alone, whereas Homo sapiens in particular were always very tribal and pack animals, and like we were very like, that's part of what allowed us to succeed was our ability to develop language, to work in concert. And that's why we eventually killed off all the other types of humans. And this is all found in the book. It's really fascinating. And so even then we were being to some degree speciesist, if you will, to the other types of humans. So this idea of other has always been a problem.
Yeah, since the birth. I just love hearing stuff about that, because when you hear somebody else being so shocked and awed and like, this never really happens, like, no, this is embedded in our genetic code for millennia.
Anytime a living organism feels its survival is being threatened. So I would argue so much as to say that anyone who tends to have racist tendencies has a lot of fear in them, and it's and their very life feels threatened by such little things. Those are fragile egos. Yeah, that's fragility in its most raw sense.
And we'll use anything as quick as we can to make sure we associate ourselves away from it.
And it's an excuse to do anything at all. Well, because that's how much of a threat you're perceived as.
Because they're from over there and we're different. They are less than us. It's trippy.
Something about like it's like a short person seeing someone really tall and going, well, now I can't get anybody because I'm so short. Yeah, it's like you feel threatened that much that you feel you have nothing else to contribute. Right. When variety really is the beauty of life. But again, we're not about to get rid of those fears and people, because most people operate out of fear.
Well, when is your fear? Do you think your fear will develop if this coronavirus gets kind of serious? Now we're past the whole connection with the flu.
If it was proven to originate in Asia somewhere, I'm not going to look, all of Asia is responsible. No, that's not how I'm looking at it. I'm going to look at it like, wow, we as humans have clearly not learned enough about bacteria to get this under control.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
I don't look at it like as the person itself, I look at the circumstance, because it's like a business that isn't doing well. A business that isn't doing well is less about the people working there and more about the systems and processes and the culture. That's why I say people rarely leave a company. They leave a boss, right? And the boss is usually the one that's in charge of putting down cultures, procedures, like how people interact. They set the tone, right? And so while the boss is a human element, it's more about what the boss put in place to keep the company together. Right? What is there? And the same goes for our international relations. As Americans, we're not taught about the world in general. So anytime anything isn't even remotely American, we don't give two fucks about it.
And it's usually a historical thing, not so much current.
Which is what allows us to be prejudiced and allows us to be biased. Whereas everyone else in the world is constantly hearing about America, constantly learning about America. Right. And which is why even when America is the biggest dick in the world, people are still like, yeah, well, in a weird way, we kind of understand. Dick. Yeah, we kind of understand America. Yeah. But we can't say that about the other way around. And it's by design. Yeah. And our ignorance creates our fear.
That's how we keep ourselves to ourselves, in a sense that when we even go to other countries, at least hopefully we see our own ignorance. A lot of times we would come back from other countries going, damn, they really didn't like, you'd be surprised when they hated I thought we were
or
cool.
surprised when they like you so much.
Yeah. I thought we were dicks.
right.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, man.
So I just hypothetically, like if it got super serious and people are starting to die pretty heavily left and right in Los Angeles, like how serious do you think it would get to you're like, I'm locking myself in my room? Or are you just going to be like, I'm going to keep washing my hands and I'm going to be cool and go to work for you're always going to be, because doesn't that put you in exposure?
Look, man, if the threat has become that real,
then it's too late.
I mean, what am I going to live at home and then like wait for the fucking thing to blow over? Like, first of all, I don't stock enough canned food for that shit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And also, I don't want to live like that, man.
And the only reason I asked that is because there is a town that, God, thanks to Joe about John Oliver, because I saw this on his show. Something about there's a town or a village or even like it's like not a town, a city, a full city.
Those people are constantly living in bomb shelters
that are quarantined, and there's video of them trying to just live day by day in their apartments because they can't go to work and go outside. Like a metropolis is like this, where it's like a dystopian kind of future where they had like a speaker letting them know the news and stuff like that.
What's the point?
Like, yeah,
part of the beauty of life is our ability to exercise our autonomy, to be able to go outside, stare up at the sun, be like, that's too bright, let me look away for a second.
So you would be able to handle it if they quarantine Los Angeles. You're like, no, I'm going out, they can't stop me.
I mean, I'm gonna see where things go. Like it's like that parable of the I don't remember the whole thing specifically, which is rare, but there was the thing where a father and a son, and then their neighbor who also had a son, found out that his son had to go to war. So then he was like, oh man, that's got to be pretty tough. He's like, oh, well, we'll see. And then, and as soon as the son was getting ready, they go to the doctor to qualify the son to go through all the shit. And it turns out the son had
something that prevented him from going.
Oh, what happened was the son fell off the horse that he was riding and broke his leg. And they're like, oh wow, that's really bad. He's like, oh well, we'll see. And then turns out he couldn't go to war because of the broken leg. And they're like, oh, he couldn't go to war, so that's great, right? He's like, oh well, we'll see. But then it turns out he also couldn't earn money to help the family pay for the. And so you just got to see. You just got to see what's going to happen.
Wait, it happened.
Wow. It's our judgments that really make the quality of life. Man.
Okay. Well, look out, Fry's Electronics, because I'm going to wear a hazmat suit and take all your shit for quarantine in Los Angeles.
You would join the riots?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you know how much money I owe in student loans?
Oh, which by the way, you did hear that if Bernie Sanders gets elected, he will eradicate all student loan debt, right?
From a certain time period. So I got mine too late or too early, whatever. So I won't fit the qualification.
That's fucking ridiculous.
I know. And a lot of people.
Only students who went to college when I went to college. What? It sounds like you're trying to get your student loan part in.
No, you can imagine how much he would owe. But yeah, it's it sucks. I don't fit the bill. See, it's just like the black lifestyle, man. I can't get a break.
Fuck that, man. Fuck that.
But I think, okay, maybe I won't. Maybe I would. I don't know. But I mean, like if it got super serious, and this is just hypothetical, people.
The coronavirus?
Yeah, because the people
you would riot?
I don't know, the city that got
I don't want to incriminate myself, but
I did it before the episode. But the city that got quarantined, it's a big ass city and it's quarantined. You cannot leave the house. So to say, oh, that'll never happen here, you can't really do that.
I didn't say it would never happen.
No, I know. I meant for whoever's listening, like if you're thinking to yourself, that will never happen in Los Angeles. Shit. I mean, I like to bring up these scenarios to people. Some people don't take them as seriously as I do.
Right.
In a situation like, yeah, what if
nobody, but
probably nobody, yeah. Like what if if something really serious happened, I like to at least be maybe 5 to 10% prepared because I thought about it. People who don't think about it at all are the ones that freak out and go crazy and do shit. It's like just take some moment to think
Unless
about it.
Unless they have principles and values that they can then evaluate and weigh decisions against.
But like, I mean, we're talking about, we've seen the way people drive. People may not handle.
I realize the degree of
like that.
Yeah, definitely ignorance outweighs.
So
awareness.
First, I would probably bog myself down because I do have a basement and hold myself out for as long as I could. And I probably then would start going out salvaging for stuff if I have to take it freely.
You're talking like some 28 days later shit.
You never know.
Dystopian future, all that shit.
Dude, if Corona happened to turn people and reanimate them, now we're in some serious shit. But it does. I don't know if it. I mean, I'm getting the propaganda. So obviously, I'm one of those people that might be blowing it out of proportion. And I'm pretty sure I am, but I'm also not taking it super casual where I'm just gonna lick the street pole, when I'm out.
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody should. First,
dude, there was a kid on this video on YouTube licking this fucking handrail, and the parents didn't do shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I like to bring out scenarios like that. Coronavirus seems kind of serious, but maybe not as serious as we think. Obviously, people die probably from car accidents more as we bring. But isn't that a curiosity in itself? All these things that say people die more from car accidents, people die more from cancer, from smoking, from sexual transmitted stuff, to all this stuff. There's apparently a lot of people dying.
I mean, there's
so which statistic is really real?
The timing of this situation to coincide with a lot of other world events that are happening and how they want people to
the fires,
just
earthquakes.
I think that these kind of things have always happened in the world, man. It's just that we have the tools now to talk about it and blow it way out of proportion. Again, a majority of people live in fear.
Yeah, that's what they said in Pompeii until they're covered in lava.
Look, man, as long as you don't, if it's that bad,
yeah, that's it.
Then do something. If you really feel that bad, don't worry about convincing other people, and just take your shit, the people you love,
take care of yourself,
with you or you're not, and make your moves. That's what it is. Me personally, dude, if it's I know as ridiculous as it sounds, if it's my time to go, look, I'm gonna do my best to be clean, to be a good member of society, and make sure that I don't go out of my way to increase the odds of other people suffering based on my own lack of respect for my own hygiene or what have you.
Okay, I'm
gonna do that, and if it fucking comes and it hits me, then I'll lock myself up and make sure that I don't make anything worse for people. But at the end of the day, man, you can't live in fear.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing that Joe was trying to communicate to begin with. Where he was because that's the type of person Joe is he's the first person to be like, fuck that.
Yeah.
To anything that's trying to psych somebody out.
Right.
Joe does, because it's basically cyberbullying or mental bullying. It's some form of mind game that isn't necessary. How real is it? Look, if you really want to talk your shit and do the research, talk to medical professionals, see what's going on, see what the overall opinion is, and remember that even professionals can be wrong
sometimes.
And just weigh the decision based on what's important to you. That's it.
Yeah.
No need to go point fingers to somebody else and be like, because you come from this part of the world, it's your fault. Is it? Or is it our fault for not having the immunity necessary to actually resist the virus? I mean, your race can't even resist the virus. You see how people can always turn it around.
Which I found out is not really true. The whole black people are not. I mean, black people can get coronavirus too.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
You didn't see the meme?
No, but
with Bane and
no.
Okay.
Well, all I'm saying is you can always find a way to blame somebody for your own fucking problems. And that includes for your own ignorance. All you got to do is say, let there be light, and do what's necessary to shed light on the subject. Do the research.
Read up, not study.
Verify your sources.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because anybody can tell you anything.
And just know that even hand soap is way better than the sanitizer shit
really?
you're buying. Yeah.
Where'd you get that
and
from?
There's other shit. Do the research. Do the research.
Now, see, that
because hand sanitizer kills a lot of good bacteria on your hands too and shit like that. That helps you fight other
wait a minute. Oh, I think I mixed it up. You're saying hand sanitizer is better than soap. No, you said the other way around. I heard you right. Yeah. Okay.
There is such a thing as good bacteria, and it does help you keep certain things off you. And hand sanitizer is like just throwing fire on your hand and burning everything away. There's good bacteria and bad bacteria for everything. We drink kombucha. That shit has probiotics. Yogurt. That's good bacteria. You see what I'm saying? It's gut bacteria. Think about cheese and yogurt. That's rotten milk.
Or fermented rotten milk, or fermented something like that.
Yeah, it's not fresh.
Right.
It's got bacteria.
Yeah.
So again, the science is saying that it's mostly elderly and super young people whose immunities are
for the most part
more frail, who will suffer from this. And even then, that's a conjecture. We don't know. It's relatively new, but also it's as far as it being this important in the news, but it's also been around for years. Like,
That's true.
like with all things, man, don't blow it out of proportion and just live with some precaution.
Okay.
Just be smart.
Yeah. Remember your training.
Remember your training. Hey, there it is. Bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we do pretty good here to transfer over into a soapbox from here.
Oh, yeah. Are we at 2?
Just about, more or less. So we can.
Okay. No, that's cool. I mean, we don't have to do 2 hours everything, but I just want to make sure I got off all the questions I wanted to ask you, which I did.
Did you get it all off your chest, Keenan?
Yep. Right on your forehead.
I blew. You saw where I was going with that.
Yeah.
That's because you left yourself open.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
left
why
my flaps open.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I came in them.
Oh God.
Geez.
You came with my flaps. Ew,
Yeah.
Philly. my what do we have to call it a term? There has to be a term for putting that ring in between your ball sack like you do on the earlobes.
No, there
Isn't there
doesn't,
a
there
term?
doesn't have
What's
to be,
the-
Keenan.
What's the term for the earlobe one?
There's nothing about that is mandatory. I don't think at all.
I'll find it. There's one out there. There's got to be. I can't be the only weirdo on this planet. 6 billion people plus.
You're definitely one of the most weird
Mm-hmm.
weirdos. on
One
this
of a
planet.
kind.
Yeah,
So,
that's what they tell me. One of a kind.
Are we? I didn't know we were at 2 hours. Yeah.
So with
yeah,
that
pretty
being
much.
said, the soapbox segment is sort of that whole thing where you get your Abraham Lincoln on and you stand in the middle of the town square and you're like, hear ye, people. This is what I want to say.
Abraham Lincoln.
Whatever.
You mix yield English with modern
I'm
America.
painting a picture.
Okay.
Go with me. It's art. It doesn't have to make sense.
Oh, okay.
Coronavirus is real. Remember your training.
Oh man.
Okay, Keenan.
Yes.
I'm gonna turn to you. You can go ahead and take the stage.
My
My permission.
Your permission? Okay. I'm gonna take it anyway.
Yeah, you are.
Right in my flaps. First and foremost, as always, thanks to listeners out there. Pew pew pew. My soapbox, I'll be going to San Francisco tonight. It's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna try and document it if I can. I think I'm gonna call it like Noob Side Quest, something like that on Instagram. I don't know. But I also try and go on my first tour ever with the band. Always want to do that since when I was a kid. I don't know how much drugs and hookers will do or I'll do, but we'll see. It'll be kind of fun. I'll probably just sleep in the car the whole time or something like that. But the main soapbox for me tonight is twerp. Now, I don't know when twerp came out, but as I was looking on my chat to send Philly a GIF or GIF, I was typing in twerk, but then it labeled up twerp. And I was like, well, when did the evolution of twerk go into twerp? Because they're the same thing, I think. But the pictures that I was looking for twerking was under twerp. So my soapbox is I'm old as shit. And I was just trying to find out what twerp and twerk difference is. So I'm not going to do my research. I'm going to leave it up to the audience. If you want to send me my old ass a message, because I'm trying to get some interactivity with the audience. I'm not trying to be a full-on dick. I kind of want to have some communication, back and forth dialogue with people who listen and chime in and say stuff and we'll, mention on the show and whatnot. I kind of want to be more involved with the audience and our listeners. So my soapbox is, what the fuck is the difference between twerk and twerp and why did it change? And I thought it was always twerk and I thought twerp was something different, but they show the same pictures. So help me out. Help my old ass trying to be young understand this new hip cool cat language.
All right.
That's soapbox.
I'm gonna break one of the rules here and let you know that twerp is usually referred to like a little kid or somebody who
A little twerp. I've heard that before, but
it just so happens that probably the algorithm on the GIF generator just assumed you misspelled it.
Oh no, it actually said twerp. It gave me the correction, the misspelled,
I showed you some
and then I
twerking photos
clicked
too, yeah.
and I clicked on twerp, and there's just nothing but twerking.
And it's probably because there are more twerking photos than there are twerk.
Twerk.
Yeah, it's
Twerk.
goddamn.
It's weird.
Kenan. Anyways, moving on.
I'll
to my
show you.
soapbox.
I'll show
I
you.
believe you. I believe you.
Okay.
I just.
All right, on the Philly soapbox. Take us home, Philly, because Joe's not here. Fuck him.
Yeah, I didn't have anything planned as usual. You always look at me like, don't you fucking dare. But it's true. I didn't really even think about it. In fact, when I'm not doing the podcast, I don't really think about the podcast much because I'm busy doing other shit. But if I had to say something right now and ask the universe to channel through me like a big giant swinging cock to give me the insight and the words to move you into the next day, the next week, the next month, the next week, because you'll tune into the next episode when the giant swinging cock comes back. But until then, if I had to leave you with anything, I would say call someone who's older. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. There are some people in my life who, whether they were there for me or not, they're getting on in their years, and it can get pretty lonely. It gets pretty fucking lonely. And I, every now and then, I'm like, I should call this person. And then I don't. And you don't understand how hard it is to be older, and then like you don't have the same activities that you do when you're young, because not only do you not have the energy, but maybe some of your friends aren't around anymore, or whatever the case is. And I know it sounds crazy for me to say something like this, but it's weighing on my mind a lot, and it doesn't always have to be about you. Sometimes making somebody else's day is all you really need to do. Somebody doesn't have somebody to talk to, whatever. It doesn't have to be older, just someone who you know doesn't have somebody to talk to, and just hear them out. You'd be doing the entire fucking planet a favor. It's my soapbox.
Word. Snap, 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 snap.
Remember your training.
I gotta do that. I got a grandfather. I gotta call up and say hi. Yep. And with that, that has been another episode of the None of Our Business podcast with Phil Lanos, me, Keenan Duncan. Joe's bitch ass out working and making money for his family and doing good in life. So fuck him. Thank you for listening. Turn in. Catch us in next week. We'll have a guest maybe. Might be just three of us. We'll see. And in the famous words of Noob, eat your woman out.
Suck your man's dick, or vice versa. Whatever floats someone's boat.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not awkward at all.